Good morning to all. This is Sama Megeshwari, Associate Professor, Community Health Nursing Department from Sri Balaji College of Nursing. Here I am to present you a topic on occupational health. So the main learning objectives of this course is students will be able to define occupational health, explain occupational hazards, list out occupational diseases, describe measures for health promotion of workers, and enumerate the nurse's role. So these are the main learning objectives of this occupational health. So first we'll move on to see the introduction to occupational health. So this is the story how the occupational health concept was first coined. It was Mr. Harry M. McShane, age 16 in 1908, pulled into a machinery in a factory in USA. His arm was ripped off at the shoulder and his legs was broken, but no compensation was paid. So after this story, the occupational health concept was first coined. So first we will move on to see the definition of occupational health. So occupational health should aim at the promotion and maintenance of highest degree of physical, mental, and social well-being of workers in all occupations. So the prevention among workers of departures from health caused by their working conditions. The protection of workers in their employment from risk resulting from factors adverse to health. So the placing and maintenance of the worker in an occupational environment adapted to his physiological and psychological equipment, and to summarize the adaptation of work to man and of each man to his job. So this definition was given by the joint ILO WHO Committee on Occupational Health in the year of 1950. So what are the main objectives of occupational health? The first one is to maintain and promote the health of all the workers who is working in an industries or any factories. So the first aspect is to maintain and the promotion of workers' health and the working capacity. So the second objective is to improvement of working environment and work to become conducive to safety and health. So the environment, the working environment which is there present in the industries or a factory should be conducive to safety for the health of the workers who are working in that environment. So the third objective is development of work organizations and working cultures in a direction in which supports health and safety at work, and in doing so also promotes a positive social climate and smooth operation, and may enhance productivity of the undertakings. So these objectives were also given by the joint ILO WHO Committee on Occupational Health. So we have seen the definition and the objectives of the occupational health. Now we will see what are the occupational hazards. So the occupational hazards can be categorized into main 5 categories. First one is physical hazards, second one is chemical hazards, and third is biological, and fourth is mechanical, and the fifth is psychological hazards. So the 5 hazards are physical hazards, chemical hazards, biological hazards, mechanical, and psychological hazards. So these are the main 5 hazards which the name itself describes. What is physical? It mainly for to the any body parts, and the chemical is due to the chemical, and biological is due to some air and other air temperature conditions. Mechanical is due to machinery, and psychological is your psychosocial hazards. So now we will move on to see the occupational diseases. So from these hazards, there are many occupational diseases which occurs to the people. So first, it may occur in varying time frames, from instantaneous development of symptoms to a gradual development. That is, the symptoms may occur at the starting stage and it will go for a disability or rehabilitation thing. So it varies according to the time frames, how much exposure they are exposed to that a chemical or a physical products. So instantaneous reaction, that is immediate reaction, which are any diseases that occurs due to immediate reaction, is exposure to chemicals such as chlorine or ammonia gas. A delay of some 6 to 12 hours with fumes of aerosolized zinc. So the instantaneous reaction, when we inhale a chlorine or ammonia gas, the exposure will create some irritants to our body. The second thing is, for a 6 to 12 hours time, it is mainly due to aerosolized zinc. And third is, if it takes 12 weeks and months, it will lead to the lead poisoning. That is when you are working in the lead companies. And a delayed decades with the occupational carcinogens, that is a cancer. So even the finding of congenital malformation in children whose parents may be exposed to the hazardous material. So death from such diseases, difficult to enumerate. So it can be categorized as an instantaneous reaction, the reaction which occurs within 6 to 12 hours of time, or the reaction which occurs from the week or within the exposure of week to month, or for the decades, mainly the cancer, and even the congenital malformation of the children for the parents who are working in the industries or any factories. So any chronic element that occurs as a result of a work or an occupational activity is said to be the occupational diseases. It is called when is more prevalent in a given body of workers. Should be distinguishable from the injuries due to workplace hazards. So the diseases are different from the workplace injuries. So the injuries will be the sudden breakdown in your body parts. Occupational diseases is exposure to any product and it will lead to any diseases in our health system is said to be the occupational diseases. So we'll want to see some of the numbers of the occupational diseases. It was given by WHO, 100 million occupational injuries, that is 0.1 million deaths are occurring in the world. So this thing was given by WHO. In India, if you take, it is around 17 million occupational non-fatal injuries, 17% of the world, and then 45,000 fatal injuries. That is 45% of the total death that occurs in the world annually. So 11 million cases of occupational diseases in the world, 1.9 million cases, that is 17% is being contributed by our country, India. So of 0.7 million deaths in the world, and 0.12 is from our India. That is 17% of the death from world categorized from our India. Adverse occupational factors have been estimated to cause 2 to 14% of the gross national products for various countries. So adverse occupational factors have been estimated to cost 2 to 14% of the gross national products for various countries. So first we'll move on to see the diseases. So first one is diseases due to physical agent. So due to physical agents, these are the physical agents: heat, light, cold, pressure, vibration, noise, and radiations are said to be the physical agents. So these things are coming from the physical hazards. So first one, due to heat, we may get heat stroke, heat hyperpyrexia, heat syncope, heat exhaustion, and heat rashes. And due to light, we may get the occupational cataract or the minor nystagmus. And then due to cold, we may get the hypothermia, frostbite, or trench foot. Due to pressure, we might get air embolism, blast injuries, etc. So due to vibration, osteoarthritis, Raynaud disease, that is a white finger, and noise, occupational deafness. And due to radiations, we may get cancer, genetic changes, or the aplastic anemia. So these are the diseases that occurs due to physical agents. So next we'll see what are the diseases that occurs due to chemical agents. So the chemical agents are gas, inorganic dust and organic dust, chemicals and metals. So gases is due to gas poisoning. Inorganic dust is nothing but coal dust. From coal dust, we will get the disease called anthracosis. From silica, we will get the silicosis. From asbestos, we get the asbestosis, that is a lung disease. From the iron, the disease which we get is siderosis. So from the coal dust, we will get the disease called anthracosis. For the exposure of silica, we will get the disease called silicosis. And from the asbestosis, we get the disease called asbestosis, that is a lung disease. And from the iron, we get the disease called the siderosis. So these are the inorganic dust. If we go to the organic dust, it contributes the can fiber, cotton dust, or hay. So from the can fiber, it is nothing but the sugar cane. So cane fiber will get the bagosis. Cotton dust is nothing but bicyanosis, and hay or grain dust is called to formous lung. So these things comes under the gases, that is inorganic dust and organic dust. And from the chemicals, you will get the burns, dermatitis, cancer, or respiratory illness. From the metals like lead, mercury, arsenic, chromium causes the poisoning to the person who is being exposed to these metals. So these are the diseases due to the physical agents and the chemical agents. So now I'll see the diseases due to biological agents. The biological agents will be like the diseases are hepatitis B, hepatitis C, tuberculosis, asthma, bloodborne diseases, anthrax, brucellosis, tetanus, and leptospirosis are the diseases due to biological agents. So disorders due to psychosocial agents are MSDs and work-related psychosocial factors such as high workload, demand, high perceived stress levels, low social support, low job control, low job satisfaction, and monotonous work. So all these things will be related and it will be causing a psychosocial disorders in us. And these psychological problems will be exhibited as a physical problems in any person. So the physical problem that will be exhibited due to a psychological problems are musculoskeletal disorders. They are called as musculoskeletal disorder. This is nothing but an example is if you are tensed or if you are being stressed, you'll be getting a headache. So this is more common in all the people. So a psychological problem, due to any psychological problem, we may get that a stress or depression or something, we'll be getting a body pain or a headache. So because of a psychological problem, it is exhibited as a physical problem. So that is said to be the musculoskeletal disorders. So can affect the body muscles, joints, tendons, ligaments, and nerves, as well as the back, neck, shoulder, and upper limbs. Less often they affect the lower limbs. They develop over time and are caused either by the birth itself or by the employee's working environment. So these are the disorders due to psychosocial agents. So disorders due to psychological agents are, this is psychosocial agents, that is the disorders which occurs due to a psychological problem and it will be exhibited as a physical problem. Next, we'll move to see the psychological agents. So what are the psychological hazards resulting from stress and strain will be depression, discouragement, boredom, anxiety, memory loss, dissatisfaction, frustration, irritability, discouragement, and pessimism. Pessimism is nothing but a negative thought. So psychological hazards resulting from stress and strain or depression, discouragement, boredom, anxiety, memory loss, dissatisfaction, frustration, irritability, discouragement, and pessimism. So we have seen some diseases, occupational diseases to the physical agents or a chemical agent. Thus, we'll see the abbreviation of those things. Asbestosis. It is nothing but the disease which is caused by the inhalation of fibrous minerals of asbestosis. And next is bauxite fibrosis. It is exposure to bauxite fumes which contain aluminium and silica particles. And berylosis, exposures to the beryllium and its compounds. Siderosis, by deposition of iron in the tissue. And byssinosis is a brown, it is otherwise called as a brown lung disease. It is caused by exposure to cotton dust in an inadequately ventilated working environment. So byssinosis is caused by the exposure to the cotton dust and where it is inadequately ventilated in the working environment. And silicoposiderosis, by mixed dust containing silica and iron. So silicoiderosis, silico is nothing but due to silica and the idero is nothing but the iron. So this is disease. So silicosiderosis by mixed dust containing silica and iron. So we have seen what are the why the occupational health has been first point, and what is the definition of the occupational health, what is their objectives, and what are the hazards due to occupational hazards, what are the occupational hazards, and what are the occupational diseases, and it might be categorized as a physical, chemical, biological, psychosocial or psychological, and so on. So now we will move on to the what are the health problems that arises due to industrialization. So first, these are the measures for health promotion of workers actually. So first we will see what are the health problems due to industrialization. Industrialization is nothing but if you are seeing today, most of the villages are being converted as a town, and town is being converted to a city, and all this revolution is being taken place due to the construction of any industries on a factory. So because of these industries and factories, more health problems are being occurring in the human being itself. So what are the health problems due to industrialization? The first problem is environmental sanitation problems. If you take in the past, there were only 1 or 2 houses will be there in a street, but if you take in a single place, now there are 100 to 150 houses has been constructed, and the wastage that is being produced day by day is being increased enormously. So all this leads to an environmental sanitation problems. Next is communicable diseases. The communicable diseases is more common, and it is a new day by day, and new diseases, new communicable diseases are occurring. And then food sanitation. Before and all, we were not able to go and eat in the hotels or restaurants, but nowadays, if you take, most of the peoples are not cooking in their house and they are going for the restaurants and the hotels to have their food. This is mainly due to the industrialization. Since they are working for a long time, they are not able to take care of their family and they are not able to do their housework works. The people are moving into that. So if you go to the restaurants and hotels, it is a question mark whether the sanitation is being maintained or not. So the main health problem that occurs is due to the food sanitation. Then the mental health due to many stress, depression, work pressure, there is no job satisfaction. All this leads to the mental health issues, and then accidents and social problems, and then morbidity and mortality, that is the increased death rate and the increased disease rate. So these are the health problems due to industrialization. And then the other measure thing is nutrition. So the measures for health promotion of workers, what we have to concentrate? We have to concentrate on the nutrition, communicable disease control. We have to concentrate on all these aspects. So what are the problems we are occurring? So on these aspects, we have to take care, and we have to maintain a good nutrition or a good sanitation. We have to control the communicable diseases. We have to control the morbidity and mortality rate. For all this, we need a good nutrition. We have to reduce the communicable disease. We have to maintain a good environmental sanitation. Mental health has to be improved. Measures for our women and children has to be taken. Health education has to be concentrated, and family planning has to be incised. So first one is nutrition. So under Indian Factory Act, it has been said that one canteen when number of employees exceeds 250. So if in a factory, if there are 250 people are working in a factory or industries, there should be one canteen for them. So education of workers on the value. We have to have occupational health nurse and the medical workers will be there in the industries, and they have to health educate the workers about the balanced diet. And if there is a diabetic patient or if there are hypertensive patient, they have to educate them about the diet which they have to follow. So they have to ask them to maintain a balanced diet, and a health education should be concentrated on this aspect. Then communicable disease control. So we have seen that measures for health promotion of workers should be based on nutrition, communicable disease control. So nutrition, if there is a 250 members, one canteen should be there, and we have to educate them about the balanced diet. So how we can control the communicable disease? It is mainly through the adequate immunization. So the immunization has each person's working in an industries or a factory should be immunized. It is the main thing. So this is the way that we can control the communicable diseases. Next is the environmental sanitation. So the environmental sanitation, first one is water supply. So if the water is not good condition, the persons who are working in a factories may get any diseases like typhoid or something. So the water supply, installation of drinking water fountain should be there, and there should be a separate cup for them to usable, and it should be not a reusable cup should not be available, and all these aspects should be concentrated on the water supply. Next is food. While preparing food in the canteen, they have to maintain a hygienic practices should be maintained. That is the sanitary preparation, storage and handling of food. All the aspects, preparation, storage and handling of food. We are all in all these three aspects, sanitation should be maintained, and we have to educate the food handlers about this sanitation. And if you move on to see this toilet, one sanitary convenience for 25 employees for the first 100 employees, and thereafter one for 50. So if there is, for example, if there is 100 workers are working in an industries, for first 25, there should be one toilet should be there. But after that, more than 100 people are working. For first 100, there should be one, for 25 for one, and after that 50 for one. So general plant cleanliness has to be maintained. Then there should be a sufficient space. The recommended standard is of minimum 500 cubic feet for one individual. Lighting, standard for illumination. high precision work, 50 to 75 foot candles has to be maintained. Regular work hours, that is 6 to 12 foot candles. Corridors and passages, if you take, it should be 0.5 foot candles. It should be highly ventilated. The temperature should be normal. It has to protect against any hazards, and housing has to be given for the persons who are working in the industries. And to promote the health and happiness of the workers, the main concept is we have to concentrate on the mental health of the workers in the industries. So for that, we have to promote the health and happiness of the workers, to detect signs of emotional stress and strain, and to ensure relief of stress and strain where possible. So we have to find out whether there is any emotional stress or strain is there for the workers, and we have to give a counseling to them, and we should teach them how they have to adapt to a new situation. If they are a new joiner, we have to make them to adapt with the situation, and we have to make them to work as a good person, and we have to counsel them if they are in need of any counseling. So we have to detect the signs of emotional stress and strain, and to secure relief of stress and strain where possible. And then the treatment of employees suffering from mental illness and rehabilitation of those. So the mental health has to concentrate on the promote of the health, happiness of the workers, to detect signs of emotional stress and strain, and to secure relief of stress and strain wherever possible. So we have to give a stress and strain relief wherever it is possible. And we have to treat the employees. We have to find out whether they have any psychological problems. We have to identify the persons with the psychological problems, and we have to treat them with the counseling, or a psychological treatment should be given to them, and the rehabilitation of those persons. So next we'll move to see the measures for women and children. So what are the measures that will be taken for the women and children? So expectant mothers are, that it means the children will not be working in the industries, but they are the children of the parents who are working in the industries. If the mother is working in an industry, the children has to be, the mother will not able to take care of the child. So some crèche has to be arranged in the industries itself. So these are the things comes under the measures for women and children. So expectant mothers are given maternity leave for 12 weeks. So for 12 weeks, the mothers are given the leave for their maternity. And provision of free antenatal, natal and postnatal services. The Factorious Act Section 66 prohibits night work between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. for the women. The Indian Mine Act 1923 prohibits works underground. These are the things for the women. The Factorious Act 1976 provides for creches in the factories. So as I said before, the creches are for the children, for those who are working, those who are the child of the parents who are working in the industries. So the expectant mothers are given a maternity leave for 12 weeks, provision of free antenatal, natal and postnatal services. The Factorious Acts under the Section 66 prohibits the light work between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. The Indian Mines Act 1923 prohibits work underground. The Factorious Act 1976 provides for creches in factories. So the aspects are health education, family planning, all this aspect comes under the measures for health promotion of workers. So for the persons or the workers to promote their health, these are the measures has been taken. That is the nutrition. We have to provide a good nutrition, and health education has to be given on these aspects. And for communicable disease control, we have to teach them about the immunization, and we have to check whether they all have immunized. Environmental sanitation, we have to maintain a good water supply. Food sanitation, lighting, ventilation, temperature, all this should be concentrated in the environmental sanitation. And for mental health, the psychological problems, if any persons are there, we have to find out, and we have to provide a care according to that measures for women and children. And health education has to be periodically, health education has to be given for the workers about their diseases and what are the complications or what are the diseases that will occur for them due to that they are working in those industries. And mainly we have to teach them about the family planning methods, both the permanent or a temporary family planning methods. So these are the measures that has to be taken. So now we will move on to see the prevention of occupational diseases. So these things will be concentrated mainly on the three measures, that is medical, legislative and engineering measures. So we have already seen the medical measures are nothing but the vaccination or something. Legislative is they have produced many laws and they have given many rules which has to be followed in an industries or a factories. And then engineering measure is how they build up should be there for a particular industry or a factory. So first one is prevention of occupational diseases, medical measures. So what are the medical measures has been taken? The first one is pre-placement examination. So what is pre-placement examination? So before placing an person in an industry, they have to undergo a medical examination. We have to check whether they are fit to do the work or not. For example, if you're going to work in an work as a nurse in a hospital, they will do the medical checkup for us, and the medical certificate has to be given that they are medically fit to work as a nurse. So and they will be checking whether we have been immunized against the communicable diseases or not. So these are the pre-placement examination. The second thing is periodical examination. Periodical examination is nothing but every 3 months once or 6 months once an examination has to be conducted on the individual. And third is medical and healthcare services. This is already told that there should be a medical health personnel and a nurse should be available in industries to provide a first aid care or to provide a health education for the people in the industries. And the notification has to be given if there is any problems or been occurring in the health, and notification has to be given. And supervision of the environment, that is nothing but we have to supervise the environment, whether the environment is properly fit for the persons to work in the industries or not. And then maintenance and analysis of records has to be done, and health education and counseling should be given accordingly. So engineering measures is nothing but how we are going to construct a industries or a factory. So we have to check the design of a building. We have to check a good housekeeping. What is the ventilation? How the mechanization is there? What is the substitution if anything occurs? What is the dust enclosure and isolation? Local exhaust ventilation, protection device, and then environmental monitoring has to be done. So we'll see the legislation act. So what is the legislation? So it is nothing but the law that has been given by the government, which their industries or a factory has to follow. So the legislation is mainly on Factory Act that was given in the year of 1938, and the Employee State Insurance Act, that is ESI Act, in the year of 1948. So first we will see the Factorious Act. So in 1948, what is the scope? For purpose of the act, a factory means an establishment in which 10 or more workers have been employed during the preceding 12 months in the manufacturing process operated on power, or in which 20 or more workers have been employed during the preceding 12 months in a manufacturing process without power. So it is appointment and employment, inspector of factories and medical practitioners. So provisional for industrial workers will be employment provisions, welfare provisions, safety provisions, and sanitary provisions. Next is we want to see the ESI Act, that is Employment State Insurance Act in 1948. It's covered all power using factories other than seasonal factories where 20 or more persons were employed, excluding mines, railways, defense establishments. So the provision of the ESI Amendment Act of 1975 were extended to the following new classes of establishment: small power using factories employing 10 to 19 persons, and non-power using factories employing 20 or more persons, shops, hotels. So these are being implemented for all these factories. So it is for the small power using factories employing 20 to 19 persons, and for non-power it will be like 20 or more persons, and for shops, hotels and restaurants, cinemas and theaters, road motor transport establishments, and newspaper establishments. So the things are shops, hotels and restaurants, cinemas and theaters, road motor transport establishments, and newspaper establishments. So ESI Act administration, if you see, there will be a chairperson, chairman, vice chairman, chief executive officer. The chairman will be the person. The Union Ministry of Labor will be the chairman. Secretary to a Government of India will be the vice chairman. Director General, Chief Executive Officer, and under them there will be an assisted by the 4 principal officers. They are the insurance commissioners, medical commissioners, finance commissioners, and actuary. So the 4 principal officers are insurance commissioners, medical commissioners, finance commissioners, and actuary. So what are the benefits due to ESI? So the main benefits are medical benefit, sickness benefit, maternity benefit, disablement benefit, dependence benefit, and the funeral expenses. So first we'll see the medical benefit. So these services comprise the outpatient care, supply of drugs and dressings, specialist services in all branches of medicines, pathological and radiological investigation, that is X-rays and other lab investigations, domiciliary services, antenatal, natal and postnatal services. All these medical benefits will be there and it will be available in the ESI hospital which is present in the state. So the main first benefit is medical benefit, and these are the outpatient. They will be providing an outpatient care and they will be providing drugs and dressings for the people, and they will be providing a specialized service in all branches of medicines and lab investigation and then X-ray investigations, domiciliary services, antenatal, natal and postnatal services. Other services of the medical benefits will be immunization services, family planning services, emergency services, ambulance services, health education, and even inpatient treatments are available. So both outpatient and inpatient services are available in the ESI hospital. So all this will be a free of cost for the people who are working under the industries or factories. So sickness benefit. The benefit is payable for a maximum period of 91 days in any continuous period of 365 days, the daily rate being about 50% of the average daily wages, and 34 diseases for which extended sickness benefit where the insured person has been in continuous employment for 2 years. So then the maternity benefit for confinement, the duration of benefit is 72 weeks, for miscarriage 6 weeks, and for sickness arising out of confinement, etc., it is 30 days. Disablement benefit, the rate of temporary disablement benefit is about 70% of the wages as long as the temporary displacement lasts. In case of total or permanent disablement, the insured person is given life pension on the basis of loss of earning capacity determined by the medical board. So the dependent benefit, the dependent is nothing but the persons who are dependent on the working person. So pension at the rate of 70% of wages is payable on monthly basis. Funeral expenses, the amount not exceeding rupees 5,000, the amount not exceeding rupees 5,000, and then rehabilitation on monthly payment of rupees 10. So who all the persons will be there in the occupational? There will team, they will, so till we have seen the benefits are to employees, that is medical benefits, sickness benefits, maternity benefit, disablement benefit, dependence benefit, and funeral expenses. So now we will move on to see the occupational health team. So who are all the members will be there in an occupational team? So the persons who will be there will be occupational health nurse, a doctor, physiotherapist, specialist doctor, industrial manager, and a supervisor. So all these persons makes the team of occupational health. So there will be a shift in charge will be there, rehabilitation specialist will be there, labor welfare officer, labor union representative, representative of voluntary organizations, other invited members as per the need. Now we will move on to the main aspect, that is a function of our occupational health nurse. So the occupational health nurse, what is their main role? Primary prevention, secondary prevention, and the tertiary prevention. So the occupational health nurse has to concentrate on all these 3 aspects of prevention, that is primary, secondary, and tertiary. So role of occupational nurse, if you take, she will be work as a clinician, primary prevention, emergency care, treatment services, nursing diagnosis, general health advice and health assessment, research, and the use of evidence-based practice. So specialists will be occupational health policy and practice development, implementation and evaluation, occupational health assessment, health surveillance, sickness absence management, rehabilitation, maintenance of work ability, health and safety, hazard identification, risk assessment, advice on control strategies. Her role will be like other roles of the occupational health nurse will be like manager, coordinator, advisor, health educator, counselor, and researcher. And she will be taking care, work on the home care also. If any person is in need of the care in the home, those a person working in the industry, she'll be go for a home care, cooperation of the plant department, special provisions for services for women and children, crèche work, rehabilitation of the ill and injured workers, industrial plant survey, administrative responsibilities. So these are the roles and functions of a occupational health nurse. Now we'll see a small thing, that is ergonomics. Ergonomics is the study of men at work with a view to identify stress factors operating in work environment and impairing the physical, mental and psychological of health of workers and interfering with their work performance. So till now we have discussed about the occupational health definition, occupational diseases, measures to safeguard the health of the workers and the role of an occupational health nurse. I hope you all would have gained a good knowledge on this topic. So thank you all.